We have to tell our people that these needs, these longings, these desires are seeds planted by God when He created us in the womb for His purpose. That our marriages, our partnerships, our relationships glorify Him. They're supposed to glorify Him. But they can't glorify Him if we don't have them. They can't glorify Him if we have them and we feel guilty and wrong and dirty and ashamed. And we have to start partnering with the single people in our churches that don't want to be single anymore. We have to partner with them. Yes, we have to fix them up. We have to come up with ways and means to help them. You know, I just went through an incredible life change with having to find a new house and find a way to qualify for a loan. And people banded together and said, okay, we got to try this. Okay, let's try this. Well, why don't you do this? And let's do this. It would have been impossible for me to have done that on my own. Impossible. And so many amazing accomplishments through God's people have come through a lot of people putting their heads and hearts and prayers together. So yeah, I am saying, in your flesh, you should try to fix your friends up. I really am. Starting with me. but you know, if someone wants it, if you're pushing it on someone who doesn't want it, then you're really cruel. And speaking of cruel, it's cruel to wish a single person a happy Valentine's Day. It's cruel. Someone just texted me tonight and said, Happy Valentine's Day, and I wrote back, Singles Awareness Day sucks. And they were offended by my response. And I was like, okay, next. It's cruel. I don't mean to be pissy. You can still give me candy, but seriously, some of us don't really appreciate this day. Believe it or not, a lot of people feel that way on Christmas too, unfortunately. Got to be really sensitive. Think about what Paul said about this sort of thing. Err on the side of being too cautious. Or grab someone who's single on Valentine's Day and say, you know what, today would be a good time to twist God's arm. I'm going to grab you and I'm going to pray for you right now that you meet someone real soon. That'd be a nice thing to do. They might get sensitive and teary on you. But I am saying, reach out to people. I am saying that God's saying, reach out to people. I am saying that God's saying to people, reach out yourself and try to meet people and take advantage of what's available. Be careful and cautious and legal about it, please. But more than that, we need to see that these people in our churches that are longing for husbands or wives are being called into those ministries the same way someone longs to start a homeless ministry, and we go, oh my gosh, you're so wonderful to start a homeless ministry. Thank God it's you and not me. You know what I'm saying? We support people in their dreams in God, but when it comes to dating and mating, it gets a little fuzzy and gray because we're all afflicted with the concept of the curse. There are still Christians that think that when Adam and Eve had sex, it was dirty and wrong. That they had no business being together after what they had done. We are all created with these notions of sex being dirty and wrong. And let's be fair, we live in a culture that really perpetuates that. I had someone say to me once, Christians are okay with horror movies because people get killed after they have premarital sex. And I was like, oh, yeah, you just took all the fun out of it for me, man. I never thought of that. But it's true. Any of the Friday the 13th movies, teenagers have sex and then they get killed afterwards. It's basic Christian theology right there. We are brainwashed with this concept of sex being dirty. And it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. And the problem is our friends, our brethren, ourselves, our kids, and our future generations are still going to long for companionship and partnership, and they're going to long for sexual activity. They're going to long to make babies, and they're being taught the same thing. Let my kids watch as much violence as they want, but they can't watch any sex. It's the truth. It's the truth. We have to understand that a righteous two-person relationship before God is the best example of Christ in the church Christ could come up with. That's all. We have to understand that one of the easiest ways to make Christians is to make them yourself. It's a fact. God commanded his people to procreate for that purpose. Some of us men become better when we make babies. It actually changes people. The give and take of marriage softens a person. It actually helps them become a better Christian sometimes. God gave us these things. God created us to want these things so he could give us these things. But the curse has made it where it's hard to find, impossible to find, hard to maintain, impossible to maintain. And we have to side with people, pray with people, support people, and say, your desire for marriage is ministry waiting to happen. It's ministry waiting to happen. Forgive me if I just say Sonny and Cher to make my point. But it's serious. I mean, so many great men of God have these amazing women at their side. So many great women who have brought so much into the world of ministry have these amazing husbands to balance them out. Very few people do very well in ministry as single people. But God wants the lonely, single Christians to hear tonight that the longing is from him. I'm going to elaborate, but what else is there to say? The longing is from him. It's there because he put it there. And you need to get on the track of working with God to deal with that longing. Not to get rid of it, but to fulfill it. And the people in your life need to get that that's an essential part of your ministry. So